So, does Jesus play drums? Of course. Okay, I don't have to speak then. Well, yes, he does, but let me get to that first. So, let me start playing. Good morning, everyone. So, as you know, today is Easter, and that means it's Jesus was resurrected. This is the anniversary of his resurrection, and so happy Resurrection Anniversary Day. So that means resurrection. That means he died, but he lived again. So when people die, normally they think, oh, my life's over, I'm not going to live again. But no, Jesus, he came resurrected. And we want that too, right? So, Jesus, he was resurrected. And Jesus, he has another name. His name is Yahweh, Yahweh Shammah. God is with us. And God is everywhere, right? God is everywhere. He is in church. Hi, Jesus. He's on the mountain. I'm not going to shout that out. I don't have a loud voice. He's in SCP. He's in the clouds. He's even in jail. He's playing on the NBA courts. He's refereeing. He's in the stock market. He's everywhere, right? Even the places you won't expect. He's in the homeless. He's with the homeless. He's in the White House. He's everywhere. So right. So Jesus, now that he's alive, he can share with what we do, and He came to earth, right? So he's here always. Okay, so yes, he can play drums. Okay, so, but as I said, Jesus is everywhere. He's up here speaking. It's not me speaking. He's speaking through me to you. He's in jail, like I said, right? So let me tell you about something that happened. I have a friend, and her life was a wreck. I met her last year. Her life is a wreck. Her parents are terrible. Well, I'm not saying that, but the stories of her parents are just so sad. And one day I told her, I'm a Christian. And then she's like, really? You're a Christian? You really believe there's a Jesus? And I'm like, yes, I do. I really do believe there is. And she's like, no. If Jesus was here, then my family would be together. I would smile more. But it was so sad. And then her life is a wreck. And she got into worse trouble this year, maybe a month ago. I'm not exactly what she did, but she did something to get her locked up into jail. She wasn't locked up herself. She turned herself in because she felt so bad. But her life was just a wreck. And she went to jail. And she was in there for 3 weeks only. She's good behavior, But when she came out, I was expecting like, oh, Kelly, you're back. Oh, I'm so happy. But she came back like, David, guess what? There is a Jesus.
Wow.
What? There's a Jesus? Didn't you just go through all of this trouble? Didn't you just go to jail? Didn't you just wasn't your life just wrecked? Isn't there nothing going for your life? And yeah, there's a Jesus. And I found him in jail. What? Jesus is everywhere. Everywhere, wow. Oh, I'm so happy to see her. Oh. So, aren't you glad that Jesus resurrected to be with us and that he's here all the time? So, Otto, can you go to the verse I showed you? Philippians 3:10, and the next verse too, please. I want to know Christ and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of sharing in his sufferings, becoming like him in his death. I want to know Christ and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of sharing in his sufferings, becoming like him in his death, and so somehow to attain the resurrection from the dead. We want to be with him and become like him, right? So when Jesus was resurrected, he visited people. He did more. He didn't just go straight to the ascension. But before the ascension, he visited some of his disciples, like Mary Magdalene. But let me say, these people from the Bible, they're a lot like us. Even though they really saw him, we can see him too. But okay, so Mary Magdalene, let's look at her life. Mary Magdalene. So there's times when she collapsed and she was just in so much pain and she was so much sadness. Right after Jesus died, she went to the tomb to mourn over him. And we feel like that sometimes. We go through pain, we go through grief, we collapse, and there's nothing else we do. But there is something we can do. We can go to God, right? Mm-hmm. And we can always go to God. He's always there. So we're like her. We are like a little bit of the Bible. There's also the two travelers, the two disciples that were walking on the path to Emmaus. I don't know how to pronounce that, but Emmaus. And Emmaus. And Jesus came up to them, and they were talking about Jesus, and Jesus started walking with them, walking down to their house, and they were just talking with them. Oh, okay. And they're talking about Jesus, but they know who Jesus is, but they don't really see him. But maybe we should sometimes open our eyes. A lot of times we talk about Jesus. Oh, I love Jesus. But we think, oh, Jesus isn't actually here anymore. He was from 2,000 years ago. But he is here. Like I said, he's in the jail. He's everywhere. And sometimes we just don't recognize it. What up, Jesus? Yeah. So, remember when the disciples, they came together after the crucifixion. They came together. They were hiding. They were scared. We're scared. We get scared all the time. We're hiding. Sometimes we're afraid. And we need to go to God for peace, and he breathes on us. Sometimes the disciple Thomas, we doubt. We don't believe what people say is true, and we have to see it for ourselves. But sometimes we have to have that faith that God is true, and he is real, And sometimes we have a little bit of Peter. We betray him, we deny him. Oh, I don't know Jesus. I've done that before. I feel bad. But people ask me, are you a Christian? Oh, no. Whatever. But no, we are. We have to come back. And Jesus, since he's always there, we can always say, oh, I'm sorry, Jesus. I really do know you, and I want to confess my faith to you. So, now that Jesus is alive, now that he's resurrected, we can always be with him, and he's always right next to us. So, if we ever have a pain, we can always go to him, no matter where we are. Now that he's alive, we can also be alive. The tomb is empty. So, thank you, babe.